Yeah, I want to get into some predictions on silver actually for 2014. Now, first, I want to review the old predictions. The consensus was back in 2012 that silver was going to go to at least $60. And why was that? Because of what happened in 2011. It was about 47, 48, whatever it was, and they expected, hey, the Mayan calendar, 2012, 12/21, 2012. Whatever, back in 2011, it was 11/11/11. Numerology, baby. The fear mongers, and of course, there's always the analysts out there with the MACDs and all that other stuff. Which I'm not going to knock all that stuff, but you got to remember, you can have even a system down to a T where it works flawlessly, but then something changes radically on an entire landscape. One thing is world war, right? I mean, that's one thing. I don't like, I'm not trying to push war here, but I'm just saying that when that happens, what happens in peacetime could totally change immediately, and all your mathematical formulas are thrown way the hell off, right? Something like that can happen. So, just reviewing again, 2012, a lot of people were saying about $60. In 2013, there was about 40 professional analysts that said silver would be about $40 in 2013. That's what they were saying, predicting for 2013. Obviously, that's not going to happen. Now, what I'd like to do is this. I retain some things I think are extremely important little facts, and I stick with them like, pit bull biting on a piece of meat. You know what I mean? This is the way I look at things because, first off, these guys didn't tell me nothing about, I never heard nothing about the 6 bullion banks being net short back in January 2013. You didn't hear this. It was a big secret until after the freaking gold and silver crashes, right? Then you find out later on it was a fact that the 6 largest bullion banks were net short gold. But after the crash, they were net long. So that's kind of telling me when gold actually got a little bit below 1200, that's telling me that was the low. It's not going to go that much lower, though. I mean, see, it went lower than even that low, but I don't think so. I don't think so. Because too many big players that supposedly know what the hell they're doing are net long. George Soros is heavily into the gold mines. Goldman Sachs is betting long on freaking gold. Now, they're not betting for like astronomical numbers, but also something was interesting. Somebody bought a large amount of options to buy gold, betting on $3,000 gold within the next 2 years. So I think it's actually the bottom might be behind us, but you know how the correction period usually goes on metals. Like when it corrects, and it stays flat for a freaking really long time. And don't expect like a steady rise. It's going to go and then fake you out and up, and then when it finally does hit the next major peak, it's going to fly up fast. I mean, it'll only be a matter of 5 or 6 months. It'll go from, I don't know, $30 to $72 or something. That's what'll happen. Like I remember, well, just to retrace, a lot of times when people were saying $30 silver, they thought it was too high. And then when it went up to 40 something and it corrected down to like, high 40, it went up to the high 40s, and it corrected to the low 40s and whatever. And it went down into the 30s, and then it was back up into the 40s again. People were thinking $30 silver was much too low. So right now the sentiment is horrible. That's why I feel like it's pretty good. Oh, also I picked up a little interesting factoid on Bitcoins. Less than 1,000 people own half the Bitcoins in the world. Less than 1,000 people. So I'm like, obviously this is not, I'm not saying the idea or the concept is bad or anything, but man, oh man, the less than 1,000, it almost reminds me of like the elitists or something, But somebody's going to get left holding the bag on that deal. Now, I know they crashed down to 500 something, then they went up to 900 something, it's like They're all over the place, man. They're all over the place. So I don't think that's a. I'm not against the concept per se, but it's like I think when it starts getting really high, I think it's dangerous, and they're trying to attract a lot of people now. For what reason, right? Now, in silver, nobody's really trying to attract just anybody. I'm telling you, it's good, but really a lot of people have abandoned it now. It's probably smart right now, and it's going to go into a hyperbolic bubble. And I'm probably not going to talk about it then because I'll be telling you it's getting dangerous. And I'll be interested in selling it like nice and really high. Now, how high is high? This Bitcoin tells me that silver can do something really radically stupendous sometime. Now, I think it's going to be off. I think, there's going to be all these little ups and downs, and maybe the next real height is going to be the 72 to 75. But maybe a few years from now, we might have this crazy $500 silver, $900 silver, over $1,000 silver. I don't know. Hey, if Bitcoins can do it, silver can do it. It doesn't have to make sense. It doesn't have to make sense. The fundamentals don't mean anything. They don't. It's all emotions. Panic. So, something that has intrinsic value could definitely do that. But I just also remember that, I think silver's not going to do much in December. I don't think it's going to do too much. It's going to be where, the problems will lie, I think, will come in ahead in 2014. And it's not just because it's the calendar year flipping over. It's because the budget crisis is coming up again. And that's going to be bad for the equities markets, for the stock market. And, maybe this bet that George Soros seems to had supposedly did a large, huge bearish bet on the S&P that has not played out at all yet. He just may be patiently biding his time. And when the time comes, maybe it's going to be when the budget crisis here is in early 2014. He's not a day trader, man. He's not a day trader. And, but, I look at if there's going to be a sinking of the equities at that time, temporarily. I'm not saying, if you get caught in the equities and they sink like that, don't sell it. Because I think they're going to pump the system back up, and the equities will go to 20,000. The Dow will go to 20,000. Okay? So, if you get caught in a trap, it's like people right now, they're in silver. They got caught in a trap, right? It's like bad news, whatever. But it's, I don't think it's going any so. It's not going. I don't think it's going to lose 50% of its value from where it is now. So, just hang on, just hang on. And if it does go a little bit to a new low, I don't think it's going to last too long. Because you noticed when it hit the 18, it kind of sprung up to 22 pretty fast, right? So, just remember that the experts have been wrong in the past all the time. And now that I'm just kind of going by, not just my instincts, but I pick out, like I said, I pick out certain things, and I think they're more important than other things. And it's like I grab onto them like a pit bull grabs onto a piece of meat. And what I think is important is that there's too many people that have too much money, that, in other words, they got a lot of money because they know what the hell they're doing. They're net long on the metals now. If the metals were going to take another nosedive and go to a new record low, I don't see why these people would all be net long right now. I know what Jim Rogers says, but he's not the 6th largest bullion banks. And, Soros is also in the miners too. So, it's probably, we're probably past the low. We're probably past the low. But that does not mean we're going to immediately go up to 72, 75 on silver. But, that could happen in 2014. It could happen like a rocket. And the thing is, if it happens like a rocket and it goes up to 70, past 50, it's my contention, it's my guess that it's not going to go to 100, but it's going to be everybody else in the world is going to say it's going to go to 100, 500, 1,000. If you see silver start getting some serious legs in 2014 due to a strike in Iran, I know that people saying, "Oh no, it can't happen." It can happen. It can happen, man. And the budget crisis and all this type of stuff, and then challenges from China and North Korea and the sky's falling and all the drama from the alternative media. It can go that high. But I do want to say this: I'm not an anti-American, man. You know, I ain't buying the bullshit from Russia Today, and I know the game they're playing, and actually they're playing it in cahoots with our elite. You know, it's like they say all this stuff with the Bush family and stuff. Bush family and Putin are buddies. You know, they're all buddies. And there's like Russian police and stuff like that working with our homeland security and all this other garbage. Hey, better wake up, man. The game is like everywhere, and the basic way to freaking fight it is because there's actually, you know, I don't know what the hell the Russian people do, but I know a lot. Well, maybe not a lot or most or how many of them, but there's more of them aware of what's going on in Russia in detail, you know, than the Americans are, and it's not cool. It's not cool. So, you know, when the big alternative media comes out, like Alex Jones, and they're freaking blaming everything on the Western elite, just remember something very important, because this is why I see it. They want you to run to the other, an option to make a change, to go to some new system, and what they plan to do is introduce communism with a human face. So, reject that. And you know what? The one way to stay free is to stay financially independent. And one good way to stay financially independent in times of crisis is with gold and silver. That's a fact. That's when they go up. In times of crisis, gold goes up. Times of crisis, oil goes up. And when those two go up, silver goes up. That's why you're hanging on to your silver. It's not for like when a hurricane happens or some crap like that, or a winter storm. It's for times of global crisis. Precious metals and oil go up. And that'll protect the middle class. And if you stay independent financially, you can stay independent in any other way too. Just don't fall hook, line, and sinker for the garbage coming out of Russia Today, man. Because those guys, I already know the game. Man, it's right. Major Golitzin said it right so many years ago. So many years ago. And they are working with the Western elite, more or less. More or less. The New World Order. The New World Order, the world, you know, global domination bullshit. It's being played to us in different ways. And, you know, they're going to want change. Buzzword, big buzzword for something you don't want. We don't need change. We just need to adhere to the Bill of Rights and the Constitution. And if we're going to have a global law of the land, we want a Bill of Rights for the global law of the land. That would screw up every dictator, every place across the world. Everywhere. Everywhere. And you got to remember, why did Rome actually form as a republic? They were financially independent farmers. Financial independence actually makes you politically independent. It makes you a free man. It makes you a free man to willingly elect your leaders rather than ride roughshod over you. Because you can tell them to go to hell anytime you want because you're independent. Right? Correct? And that is one of the main reasons you get silver. Because silver, gold, and oil, in times of major political turmoil and global crisis and anything that happens that's really, really severe, will go up dramatically. And that'll save you financially. So let's just hope that the middle class sticks with their investment, because it's a sure bet for the future.